Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite books that have unreliable narrators. This top 5 kind of just randomly came to me out of nowhere. I was heavily inspired by Death of an Author reviews. Those two ladies, that's where I saw this idea, and I thought to myself, I want to talk about my 5 favorite unreliable narrators. So first off, what is an unreliable narrator? To me, an unreliable narrator is when you have your narrator who can either be someone they're telling the story in first person or they're telling the story in third person. This character or the author purposely leaves out details, and they don't reveal these details until this perfect opportune moment, and then you're left thinking, and that basically kind of rearranges your whole thinking of the entire novel. Basically, you don't know whether or not the narrator is telling you the true story, or if they're giving you a biased opinion, or if they're lying about something, meaning they're leaving something out that they're not going to tell you just yet. I think that's probably not a very good definition of an unreliable narrator. I probably should have pulled out the dictionary. That's kind of in the back of my head when I think of unreliable narrators. That's what I think of. If you have a better definition, type yours down below. I just don't know how clear and precise my version is. But maybe you'll get the gist of it once I go through my top 5. So, starting at number 5 is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. And this book is narrated by Death, if you did not already know. So since this book is narrated by Death, you are getting a certain sort of perspective, and you're given a certain sort of just way of how he's telling this story. You see his humor, his sarcasm, his unhappiness, just his wide range of emotions, if you can even say that Death has emotions. So why I include Death as an unreliable narrator is because of the fact that he is Death. And right off at the beginning of this book, and just throughout the entire book, Death kind of spoils the entire book for you. He lets you know how this book ends. The thing is, though, he doesn't tell you when or exactly how things occur by the end. And so that's what makes him unreliable, in my opinion. At number 4, I have The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This book is told in 2 dual perspectives. The first perspective is told by a woman named Margaret Lee. Margaret, if I'm not mistaken, is a biographer, and she has been sent for by this old lady named Vida Winter, who is a very renowned writer. And then that's where you get the second perspective, when Vida Winter is telling her story to Margaret, and so then it shifts to her first person perspective. Wouldn't necessarily say that Margaret's perspective is in any way unreliable, but it's Vida Winter's perspective where it becomes very unreliable, because she even tells Margaret throughout the story, I'm not going to give you the end, I'm going to go in chronological order and tell you my story, and you can't ask me any questions. And she purposely leaves little details out, and by the end of the book, you are just given a huge shock with Vida Winter's story, and it's a really fantastic twist to the story. I remember reading this book for the first time, and I had to reread the twist a couple times. I had to reread that page multiple times because it just really made me rethink the entire novel. And that's what I love about unreliable narrators, when they make a reader just think, wow, what did I just read? And you've got to go back to the very beginning. At number 3 is the A Series of Unfortunate Events series by Lemony Snicket. And the unreliable narrator of this series is Lemony Snicket. The whole series is about the 3 Baudelaire children, but hidden in the background is Lemony Snicket, who somehow knows all of these personal details about the Baudelaires, and also the fact that he may have had some sort of relationship with the Baudelaire's mother. A Series of Unfortunate Events is a series that is just very whimsical and wild and crazy, and kind of makes no sense on occasion, and Lemony Snicket as a narrator is absolutely hilarious. I love his sarcasm and humor, and he's always a man in disguise. You never physically see Lemony Snicket, but he's constantly talking about himself kind of being a spy and wearing disguises and being in the background of the Baudelaire children's lives. And so I call him an unreliable narrator because he purposely leaves out details. He never, in all 13 books, he never gives you all of the information that you need. And that's what I love about this series, is that it's so open-ended and open to so much discussion and opinions. And that's all because of the fact that Lemony Snicket, he gives you clues and hidden messages, and as a reader you have to be smart enough to kind of figure out those clues that he gives you. At number 2, I have Atonement by Ian McEwan, and this book is told entirely in third perspective, if I'm not mistaken, but still, this third person perspective, it is still a very unreliable narrator. The third person perspective, they still twist things, and there's a particular twist at the very end of the book, which is very controversial. People either love the ending of this book or they hate it. And the narrator does a really big doozy here at the end and makes you question the entire book. And it is so fantastic and brilliantly done. I have read a lot of books that have surprise twist endings, but I have never been as surprised as I was with this book. And at number 1 is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. And this book is, like what the title suggests, it is about the murder of Roger Ackroyd. This book is told in first person by a doctor named James Shepherd. He is the doctor of this really small village, and Hercule Poirot comes to town and helps this doctor investigate the murder of Roger Ackroyd. And I cannot give you any more details beyond that. Just like Atonement, this has one of the most fantastic, wild and crazy twists that I have ever read, and I totally was not expecting it. I've only read 5 Agatha Christie novels, but this one is far and away my number 1 favorite Agatha Christie. If you want to start somewhere with Agatha Christie, I highly suggest you read this one first, because your mind will be blown. So that's it for this month's top 5. In the comments below, I would love to hear what your favorite unreliable narrators are. I really enjoyed those types of books, and I love kind of getting to the end of those type of books and really being like, wow, that was really interesting and well done. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this month's top 5, you may like these other top 5s. Bye, guys.